Good morning, Texas food manager. Welcome back to Lisaville. Okay, now for the fascinating, incredible discussion of facilities design. And off we go. Food establishment locations must conform to regulatory requirements. You can't do it any way you want. There's certain ways to do it, and certain ways you have to do it. Ain't no should do it about it. It must be suitable for storage, preparation, sale of the type of food and ingredients used. There can be many designs, but they must follow these important general principles. Well, where is the restaurant at? Location, what's going on? What is the zoning requirements? What is going on around it? Is it downtown, out in the country? What use? Well, what are you doing there? Volume? How much food you expect to be processing will make a big difference in the facility design. Hours of operation, late night crowd, drunken cantankerous or daytime crowd waiting to get drunk. Make a difference. Workflow. What does it take to produce the incredible food that you're going to be producing? Some of the provisions that your food establishment need to consider, not need to, must. I don't know where that came from. The prevention of biological, physical, chemical hazards. Maybe, there are lists of others. They've now been, the FSMA been addressing, terrorism, intentional contamination, women hazards, all kind of hazards out there. Supply of potable water, safe drainage system, adequate and suitable storage. Well, this good grief, it has to be done right. Have a place to store everything. Have a place to store the chemicals away from food areas, clean materials, and refuse. Garbage container, of course. Garbage container. Normally in an enclosure with dumpsters and other things, horrible smelling things in it. Appropriate lighting, ventilation. You and everyone there needs to see what you're doing, and keep the smelling halfway reasonable. Suitable facilities for washing food, for washing and sanitizing utensils and equipment. Employee restrooms and other facilities. Easy access to all parts of the premise so that effective cleaning, sanitizing can be carried out. Preventive measures against pest infestation. Pesky pest. Devices for controlling temperature, TCS foods at all stages, food flow, which most are, at some place anyway. Workflow. How we flow our work. Employees need to follow a logical, continuous workflow. Starts here, proceeds smoothly, hopefully, to the end, with tasks moving from raw ingredients to the incredible finished product. Cross-contamination should be physically impossible. There's ways to make sure it can't happen. By measures like keeping raw food apart from other food, separating work centers for dirty stuff, processes like washing vegetables clean, processes like portioning cooked meats. Address devices used on site generate chemicals for washing raw whole fruits and vegetables. Also, chemicals generated on site for the washing and peeling of raw whole fruits and vegetables shall meet specified requirements. Chemicals used in the washing or to assist in the peeling of fruits and vegetables. For the washing of raw whole foods and vegetables shall be used to in accordance. I don't know what accordance is. Accordance with accordance. I'm gonna have to look that up. Accordance with the EPA registered use instructions, chemicals for washing fruit and vegetables can be generated on site. See 4-501.114 of the Food Code. We have a wonderful resource on our main website. You're on our main website, but you're in a different section. If you go to texasfoodhandler.com, so well presented in the bottom right hand corner, you will see a page in the menu at the top says food safety and HACCP documents. And if you look down, you see a few of the food codes, and then you'll see a legal lawyerish link to a website where you can navigate easily through the food codes, which is wonderful. Storage. Good. There's a lot of storage going on here. Storage should be near the delivery areas, not have to tramp through the whole store. If possible, delivery should never be carried through prep areas, right? Well, obvious reason. Initial food prep should start as near as the appropriate storage area as possible. The final work being carried out nearest to the area for, either packed, needs to, from when we got it to where it's served, should have a logical order in that process. Inspection. When you want to start a restaurant, how do you do this? Materials used in the construction walls, floors, ceilings must be able to withstand heat. Well, there's a lot of heat going on in the kitchen. Steam, condensation, grease, got a lot of that going on. Construction should also address safety concerns like using fire-resistant materials and non-slip floors. When appropriate, whoop. Bam! The food code prohibits carpeting in food preparation storage areas. You can't have no way to wash, and sanitize that properly. The walls and ceilings must not flake. Can't have flaky walls, flaky ceiling. It should be able to support pipes, ventilation good. All the pipe work should be sealed. Where it can't condensate, cannot drip. The brackets should be easy to clean. The windows and doors should be protected by screens, strip curtains, or air curtains. Reduce contamination risk where appropriate. All the work surfaces must be smooth, heat resistant. You gotta be smooth, non-porous, where you can clean them. A whole lot of things going on in here. Come on, baby, a whole lot of shaking going on. And it must be designed properly for it to be done properly, or you can't do it properly. Bottom line. Water and drainage. A good supply of quality drinking water. Good grief. And talk about, with enough pressure to supply dishwashing machines to allow the business to work in a sanitary manner must be available. Well, run a restaurant with no water. And drinking water must be protected from contamination caused by cross connections in the plumbing or by siphonage. In other words, you know how siphons work. You siphon gas out of your car, or your neighbor's car. You know how that siphon is. Water supply systems must comply with local codes. The purpose of the drainage system is to prevent flooding and remove contaminated waste and soils from food preparation areas. You gotta get rid of this crap, Grease trap may be usually necessary on some of the drains. You can expect an incredibly wonderful presentation on the topic of grease traps later. Doesn't work like a mouse trap, but I guess kind of has the same overall principle. According to the food code, the back siphon is a prevention device installed on a water supply system shall meet American Society of Sanitary Engineering ASSE standards for construction installation, maintenance, inspection, testing for that specific application. Well, are you doing sandwiches, or is all of it, grill fry stuff? You can make a difference. And your grease trap, and has to be done right so you can service and maintain it. Utilities, water, plumbing, prevent backflow and must avoid cross connection and plumbing. Never attach, let's go with attach a hose to a faucet unless a backflow prevention device has been installed, or a vacuum breaker, and I have no clue what that is. We must always double check valves and have reduced pressure backflow preventers installed. If the water goes backwards, it goes from the dirty to the clean. There's ways to prevent that. The best is the air gap. The only true prevention method for backflow is to have air gap. Air gap is a physical space, something like between the Earth and the Moon, but normally a lot shorter, separating a clean water source from a contaminated source. Most sinks have two air gaps. First is from the faucet to the water, okay? Second is from the sink drain to the floor. If you look underneath commercial 3-compartment sinks, you'll see that the drain is a couple inches above the drain. The drain is a couple inches above the drain. The pipe coming from the drains in the sink at the end of that is a couple inches above the floor drain. Utilities, water and plumbing, single biggest threat. Oh my God, a threat to water safety is cross contamination. Cross connections are when there is a physical link between clean water sources and dirty water that comes from a drain or sewer. Oh goodness grief, dirty and alive. Cross connections create what is known as backflow. Going the wrong way here, girls. Turn around. Where contamination water flows backwards due to changes of pressure, comes up and contaminates clean water. Obviously, can't have that. Personal hygiene. Hand washing sinks must be available in the bathroom, and there must be one sink located in the food prep areas. Normally it's where close to where you go in and out of food prep, food kitchen areas, so that here you are, first thing you do, and so forth. Hand wash sinks must be separate from other sinks. That's all that's done there. You can't go into can't do it in 3-compartment sinks or where you get your mop water. Washing and drying must be separate from other sinks in the establishment. Washing and drying materials must also be provided. Employee restroom may also be available, as well as properly stocked and conveniently located first aid kit for emergency. When customers have obvious problems in your restaurant, you can't just stand there and watch them die, or employees bleeding all over the place. Food managers are negligent if they're not well acquainted with first aid and CPR, and later on I'm gonna help acquaint you better with first aid and CPR. Employee restroom must be available. Can't have them peeing behind the trash can out back, as well as properly stocked, conveniently located first aid kit. Power supply, gotta have power. Right? All electricity controls and isolators must be waterproof. Well, installed in positions where employees do not have to reach across from cooking equipment or machinery. Electrical equipment should be positioned so that it's not exposed to water. Well, good grief. Or wet conditions, good grief. Y'all know, everyone knows what will happen next. Flexible gas connections. So it's easy to clean around pipe without damaging and blowing up the whole block. Lighting levels, 10 candle 30 inches above the floor. In walk-in coolers, dry food storage areas, and other areas during periods of cleaning. You open the walk-in cooler and walk in, you're not going to see 10 candles spaced around the room, with cobwebs, so it looks like a ancient mortuary or something. Candles, amount of illumination that a candle puts out at 1 foot. And you have these fancy devices that, can figure out how many candles are in there, even though there ain't no candles. Shatterproof bulb, bulb above you, due to steam or whatever breaks, doesn't fall into the food. Prep cooking areas need to be brighter than anywhere else. So see what's going on, and hopefully not cut your finger off instead of the chicken in half. Now there are different lighting parameters for different areas within the operation: food prep and cooking areas. Now this is something. There's not a pencil in your hand you're screwing up. To be written down and know well, food prep and cooking areas, 50-foot handles, has to be brightest by far. Dining rooms, it's more comfortable at a lower light level. Dishwashing areas, 20. Also, salad bars like that, 20-foot candles. Storage areas, 10-foot candles. See the lights here? You can see what you're doing in this kitchen, beyond doubt. Must be restroom, but properly equipped and functional, easy to do what you need to do there. Larger restaurants, have locker rooms where employees can put their stuff. Not all employees come via car. Some on the bus, and I don't know, walk, all kind of ways, and they have things with them, need to go somewhere while they're working. Can't way back and running around in the kitchen. The air conditioning ventilation system should prevent high temperatures and humidity. Get rid of it, remove airborne grease and other particles. You'll see you have to get some company coming in, regularly, month or two, to clean your ventilation grills out, remove odors and unpleasant smells. Ventilation, refer, ventilate. First removal of heat, steam, smoke, keep the internal air quality healthy and safe. Ventilation also eliminates odors and fumes, which is very important in a food prep area to prevent some of the more powerful odors, smoke from going from cooking prepping areas straight to the dining room. Food contact materials, all materials must be easy to clean and sanitized and non-absorbent, because it's absorbent, can't be washed clean. Wash, rinse, sanitize properly. Stainless steel is suitable, most accepted material, because it won't oxidize, it won't rust, and it's smooth, hard, and easy to clean. Maple or similar very close grained hardwoods are the only food code approved woods for cutting boards, cutting blocks. Pizza paddles, likewise tableware must be non-porous, without chips that crack, and meant to serve food in. All equipment should be maintained, like everything. House, car has to have regular maintenance, so it keeps working. Surfaces such as cutting boards and boards that are subject to scratching and scoring must be resurfaced. This is a very common question on every food manager exam I've seen. Hint. And boards that are if they can no longer be effectively cleaned and sanitized, they should be discarded. They can't be resurfaced. The companies that will research your cutting resurface. Excuse me, cutting board. Whenever possible, prior to opening an equipment, the building that will be used should be checked for pests. If we have nests of rats in here, let's get rid of it before you even think about starting to do it. Serving food in buildings should all be sealed off as well as possible, closing all access points that pests may use to enter, and closing any access points to areas where pests may harbor themselves. Don't give them a place to live, something to eat, water to drink, or go find somewhere else. Basic pest control. Cross contamination. Floor that does not drain correctly allows germs to breed, which then attach to shoes, which in turn attach to everything. It spreads crap around. And allow that to happen. Food should always be made of proper materials. You can't use any. Oh, this looks pretty, I'm going to use this. It's got to be effective as far as easy to clean, have adequate drainage, so you got to walk through these water puddles, moving around, handling food. An example of a poorly designed facility would be any that require food prep employees to cross non-food prep areas such as dining room in order to get to other food. You're going to prep on one side of the dining room, cooking on the other side, and keep going back and forth through the dining room with all these carts of food. Has to be in the initial design. Physical contamination. Facility as a walk-in refrigerator, for example, and the back of the kitchen. The walk-in is actually tacked on the back of the building, but it's not giving a proper roof. Tacked on things that tend to leak. In time, water buildup on top of the walk-in begins to seep in and onto food. Oh, no. The repair of the walk-in or cost of failing inspection, and emotional turmoil and money is the end cost the owners more than the initial cost of doing it right the first time. Don't have time to do it right the first time. You definitely don't have right to redo it, time to redo it the second time. Building design should make food processing as easy as possible. Design should aid in a simple and efficient food flow of foods from receiving to serving. The easier it is for food to move through the system, the more efficient the equipment establishment will work. Storage areas. You don't get something and take it to someone's table. A lot of storage. Separate areas should be set up to hold different types of food, such as grains put in dry storage, meats in the freezer. In the initial design, it's got to be logical where they are, not just let's see, it'll fit here. No. There should be designated areas for raw foods to be unpacked and prepared that are away from foods that could easily contaminate. If for some reason raw food must be stored near other foods, should always be stored beneath those foods to prevent contamination. Dripping blood and various organic mineral stuff on stuff below it. You don't put chicken on top of the walk-in cooler. You spread. You get salmonella disease all over everything. Chemicals and garbage should also be stored in designated areas, which will not allow for contact with uncontaminated food. A building should, pretty much gonna have to easy to navigate, easy to clean, have labels. All exits have to have this big red, exit, so something not wonderful happens. You know where to run. Hallways not cluttered, it's the right place for everything, and the hallway's not one of them. Students and lockers away. Locker areas are roomy to accommodate expected numbers of users, not have faults, trip or fall issues. Whoop, bam. Doors that are self-closing, screen doors that prevent stuff from flying, crawling in, other than your customers. Have areas that are designated as food prep, food storage areas, marked in a manner, with a magic marker or whatever, such as authorized personnel only to direct customers away to prevent cross-contamination. Is a wonderful example of that. Restricted area, enter at risk of not good things happening to you. Building materials. Well, how you gonna build this thing? Food preparation areas should be made of appropriate materials. Floors must be made of durable, non-slip materials that are easy to clean. Cleaning equipment such as mops and mop buckets should also be easily cleaned and properly maintained and totally away from any food prep or cooking areas. Drainage must also be adequate. I don't know what's wrong with my English today. Ensuring that flooding may not occur and that all wastewater may be removed. Best type of floors for this instance are those which do not have 90-degree angles at the areas where the wall and floor meet. You can see, newer designs is curved, where floor and wall meet so that water is directed away from the walls and, which is hard to clean if it's 90 degrees. Drainage must also be adequate, ensuring that flooding may not occur and that all waste water may be removed. You can't have puddles of water, all through your restaurant. Best type of floors do not have 90 degrees. Floors may be made of things like vinyl, ceramic tile, and welded anti-slip. Not sure what welded anti-slip is. I didn't know you could weld to a vinyl floor. Could be wrong. Identify, monitor, and maintain safe water sources. Food services businesses are required to make available drinking water at all times. Well, come on now. The owner manager of these companies must take proper action to protect the public whenever the establishment's water supply becomes affected to where it puts public health at risk. If you've got something going on, or even a suspect, you gotta call and let these people know. You should develop and put contingency plans in place to deal with any water emergencies. Your emergency plan should contain a list of all equipment connected to the water distribution system. In other words, you let them know how the water outage is affecting your restaurant. Facility equipment. Stationary equipment in the operation must be easy to clean, clean around. Can't be hard to get back there and clean stuff off the wall. Stand on legs. Well, I don't know what else it's going to stand on, but that are a minimum of 60 inches or 15 centimeters tall. They must be fully sealed at the base. For tabletop machinery, can either be sealed to the counter, in other words, can't get anything under it, or mounted on legs that are at least 4 inches tall. You have to have 4 inches so you can clean under it. All kitchen and food related equipment is required to have a detailed maintenance schedule showing when and why it was serviced and last cleaned. There has to be a master cleaning schedule, which is organized by equipment and frequency, and then you take that and put it on your employee rosters to be done. Standing equipment. Here we have 6 inches, and above it we have 4 inches. So, I don't know, let's even it out, 5 inches, what do you say? Tabletop equipment must be mounted, down to 4 again, so. Water supply, your business must have adequate source and quality, of course, clean drinking water, crucial for food establishment. You can't run a kitchen without plenty of water. And food preparation, hand washing, equipment cleaning and sanitation. Water supply interruption. Cause water connect direct medium for contamination of food and food service contact services. Contamination of water supply is an especially important concern that should be taken into consideration and be prepared for. You have to have a contingency plan for in cases of water supply interruption. When water service has been interrupted for at least 2 hours more, you're experiencing an extended interruption of water service. In case of water interruption, the manager should actually, it's shall, big difference in the words should and shall. They both start with SH, but then similarities change. The Christian Bible is full of these thou shalt nots. Well, S is full of thou shalts. So that thou shalt not, make the public sick and kill them. Make a note of the time and day of the issue. You gotta have records, Health department says, well, what time did it start? I don't know, a couple hours ago. No. Evaluate the operations affected, how does it affect us? Inform the regulatory authority to start interruption without delay. Either put into action emergency procedures or other directions from the regulatory authority if substitute solutions are unavailable. Sorry, folks, gotta go home. We'll call you back when we have our act together. Should you experience an emergency concerning an interruption in water service, you must take the proper food and enterprise response after assessing a number of factors, including, but not stopping at, both the scope and sophistication of your food operations, the requirements, the start and length of the emergency occurrence, the effect of other vital infrastructure and services, the availability of alternative measures that you can use to satisfy the requirements of the food code, and your Bible, the TFER. Food establishment managers, owners, are responsible for carrying out preliminary and continuing assessments, and make sure certain establishments remain in compliance with any and all, not any and all food safety requirements and laws, regulations. Alternative procedures for water interruptions. Excuse me. Goodness. During an extended interruption of water service, you can take the following: temporary alternative measures to address particular food operations affected by the interruption. Prevent any contamination of food by employees as a result of not having water. Wash their hands. Well, ain't no water. Employees must not make direct contact with ready-to-eat food using the bare hand. You should suspend alternative procedures for bare hand contact with food, obviously. Employees may use chemically treated toilets to wash hands, temporarily during, this emergency. Water from an approved water supply can be placed in containers, have a spigot, and be above the sink to wash hands. In other words, it can be turned on to where you can wash your hands properly, 15-20 seconds and not have to hold one with one hand. Hold one hand. Well, it has to be a method for continual flow. It must supply proper hand washing cleaner, disposable towels, and a dress receptacle. Wiping cloth use limitations. Soiled wiping cloths, especially when moist, can become breeding grounds for pathogens that could be transferred to the food. Any wiping cloths that are not dry, except for those used once and then laundered, must be stored in a sanitizer solution of adequate concentration. Now, did you catch that? If you use it more than one time, it has to be in a sanitizing solution. However, wiping cloths soiled with organic material can overcome the effectiveness of or neutralize sanitizer. If it's got horrible mess on it, the sanitizer, is out of there. It's not effectively sanitizing it. Sanitizing solution must be changed at regular intervals to minimize the accumulation of organic materials and sustain the proper action of the sanitizer. Proper sanitizer concentration should be ensured by checking the solution periodically with an appropriate chemical test kit. Wiping down a surface with reusable wet cloths that have been properly stored in a sanitizer solution is an acceptable practice for wiping. Wiping up, certain types of food spills and wiping down equipment surfaces. What you wipe them down with needs to be designed for that. You don't take a face towel out of your purse and start cleaning stuff up. However, this practice does not constitute the proper cleaning and sanitizing of the food contact surfaces. Where and when such is required, satisfy the methods, frequency, part 47 of the food code, which you can Google yourself or go to our main website if so inclined to be more professional and more knowledgeable in your chosen field. Same is true of the practice of wiping down a surface using dry disposable toilets. A spray bottle containing pre-mixed sanitizing solution, the emergency, what we do when we run out of water. Practice is not prohibited, however. It alone does not constitute proper cleaning and sanitizing of food contact surfaces, where and when such is required to meet satisfy the method and frequency requirement. Part 46, 47, food code. And I'm sure you also find this detailed in your wonderful T-shirt. Further, for the purpose of wiping up spilled foods from surfaces in situations where it will clean, sanitizing not required, such as when soft drink overflows on the side of a cup and onto a countertop. The use of dry cloths and disposable towels is also acceptable as long as the cloth towel is used for no other purpose. That's all it can be used for. You can't go wash your car with it, come back in. And this does not constitute a proper cleaning, sanitizing food contact surfaces. In order to effectively clean and sanitize food contact surfaces, where and when required to satisfy the requirements of the food code's surface must be first cleaned properly to remove, all organic materials, all other materials too, in most cases. It's required to use detergents or other cleaners. After the surface is clean, to sight and touch a sanitizing solution of adequate temperature. Remember, temperature, pH, a whole lot of things affect the effectiveness of your sanitizing. Sanitizing solution must stay on the surface for a specific contact time. It can do everything in a microsecond. Most things can't specify the code in accordance with manufacturer's EPA registered food label. Applicable toilet facilities. Well, what option do you have? You have to have them. Water interruptions leave you with an inoperable restrooms for both food personnel and patrons. You can take the following measures. Until food water service restored, you may provide toilets or portable toilets that have sufficient hand washing facilities, which, while not conveniently located, are easily available to employees during all hours of your business operation. I've seen restaurants, this happens to them, and the city Austin pulls up with all kinds of trucks and vehicles, try to get the problem resolved. And in the meantime, you call those emergency restrooms on trailers that you can call them, and they'll get one or more out there. They can be a lot fancier even than your own restrooms, but then where's the restroom? I'll go out the back door across the alley. uh, we're experiencing water problems, but bear with us. That's where they are. Just continue operations if you can't pull any of that off. Maintain toilet and hand washing facilities. Proper maintenance. Essentially required to have adequate, accessible hand washing. Golly, the most important thing that you could do, definitely on top of the list, proper hand washing and supplies. Those inspected and found to have inadequate or inaccessible hand washing facility supplies can and should receive a violation of health and safety codes. Dummy. Restaurants must provide hand washing facilities next to inside toilet rooms. These facilities must be outfitted. Outfit must be outfitted properly at the proper fishing supply, both hot, cold running water and water pressure down. The restroom facilities must be cleaned at least once a day. More than crazy. If I'm running a place or working there, it's going to happen. I require it to be checked every 30 minutes, and you have this wonderful restaurant serving this wonderful food, and customer goes to the restroom, it's all trashed out. I mean, you just ruined the atmosphere. It's got to be sparkling clean, and going to the stall to pee, didn't realize how crap they're out of toilet paper. Has to be should be checked often for physical problems and messes. Well, I know some restaurants that just basically ignore the restroom, but it makes no sense to me at all. You have to present the proper atmosphere. Hot water must be available. Can't wash your hands very well with ice water at all times, and in all things. Toilet facilities must be properly maintained and things working right, kept clean and good working room. And you gotta have soap to wash stuff. Soap must be supplied as well as single-use towels for drying or blowjob machines, and if that's what you're into. Toilet paper must be having self-closing door and dressing room. Held properly. Again, with the proper design. Post-legible hand washing signs. I'm sure they'll be totally ignored, but we should put them there. The only thing people pay attention to now is that toy phone that they have to have in front of their face all day long. Ventilation must be included for all restrooms. I know of a major restaurant downtown Austin. You go in their restrooms and there's no ventilation, and it's horrible, especially in midsummer. You're in there sweating, and The only reason I can see they get away with it is because they've been there forever. But I can't imagine, the owner who's making buku bucks with two restaurant locations and trailers placed around town, can't, understand how important this is. I just, don't get it. If they were no longer able to serve pizza, I bet that would get fixed. Post-pleasure, okay. Garbage. Well, we all know what garbage is. In this case, it's from the process of preparing and serving food. Another important thing to note about trash containers is that in a food operation, they must be leak-proof, waterproof, pest-proof, properly designed. Trash containers must be made of durable, smooth material, have tight-fitting covers so things can't crawl in and out of them. Party time. Have at a minimum, there must be a trash container located in all the restaurants. Well, special container for sanitary and women's thingies. They must also be located in kitchen prep areas, where people might be. Another garbage topic. Trash containers outdoors must be placed smooth, durable surfaces, concrete, beyond a deplorable mess. If they're not, surface should be non-absorbent. To prevent waste liquids from seeping in and causing pathogenic buildup, which could easily happen if it's not concrete. Also, container must have tight-fitting lid that remains closed at all times. Prevent pests from crawling in and out and having all these huge parties in them. Lastly, the recyclable material must be kept separate from the regular trash. City Austin, go behind a restaurant, there's a trash dumpster, a recyclable dumpster. Grease, condensate, when any amount of food prep and cooking, there's sure to be grease residue, right? And when cooking, it'll get near. This can pose a large safety risk if not handled properly. It is very important that food managers have systems in place for monitoring and cleaning the grease condensation. Grease taps are needed to prevent grease from entering. Plumbing systems will go into grease traps a lot later, which can really be a huge mess for everybody. The grease traps, along with the walls surrounding the cooking area, must be cleaned. Come on, girl. Monitor grease condensation. Install grease traps, which will vary depending on what you serve. Is it a sandwich or steaks? And clean walls regularly. I don't really have a comment for that at the moment. Utilities, ventilation. Ventilation refers to removal of heat, steam, and smoke to keep the internal air quality healthy. The stuff that goes on in cooking, get rid of it. Ventilation also limits odors, which is very important. Food prep area, prevent some of the, most of the most horrible odors or undesirable odors. And smoke from moving from the prep cook area to the dining room. Customers end up choking. And there you have it. Part 1 of facilities train. Thank you very much.